Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of Gift of Gab. I am your host, of course, Gab, aka Gabby. You can spell it with the B-Y-B-I. Mean y'all do it how y'all want to do it. I spell it E-I. I'm just saying. But y'all, I want to listen. I probably got a little fandom going on, right? Because I love everyday women who are just doing the damn thing, right? Who are just taking the world by force, not waiting on any handouts, not just being down or anything, just going for life. And I think I have a perfect shining example of that here with me today. Y'all, welcome to the show, Miss Ebony Perry. Actually, Deputy Ebony Perry. Welcome to the show, Miss Perry. How you doing today?
I'm pretty good. How are you?
I am well. So before this show started, y'all, I was definitely telling Ebony how grateful I am that she, decided to be a guest on my show. Recently, Miss Perry became the first woman and first Black woman motorcycle cop in Seminole County, Florida. Is that correct?
For Seminole County Sheriff's Office.
For Seminole County Sheriff's Office. See,
yes.
I am just when I saw your story come across Facebook, I'm friends with your husband by way of my stepbrother. So when I saw your story come across his page, I was like, oh my God. I was like, that's so local and like that's so amazing that this lady defied the odds. Like amazing, number one, that it took this long, right? But amazing nonetheless that you did it. You absolutely did it. So congratulations to you. I have seen you all over the news, and I think I reached out to you on Facebook one day when I saw you in traffic. And I was freaking out, girl. I was hollering and screaming.
I heard you through the messages.
So first things first, Ebony, I always just like to have my guests introduce themselves. Tell us a little bit about you, where you're from, kind of who Ebony is before she's a cop.
Okay, well, I'm Ebony Perry, maiden name Ebony Grace Perry. Okay. I'm originally from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, born and raised. Relocated to Daytona first because I was a Bethune-Cookman Wildcats.
All right.
And due to tuition, on the rise, I had to come back to Central Florida. Okay. And I started my educational career at Valencia, and I did my AA General Studies degree. Okay. Then I went on to UCF, and I got the bachelor's and the master's in criminal justice because as a little girl, since 5 years old, I always knew that I wanted to be within law enforcement.
Wow.
Yes, I always knew. Now, as throughout my educational journey, I would say maybe freshman year of college, for a quick second, I had, thought about medical school. But I thought like, okay, you know what? Law enforcement might be best for me to match my personality because I'm a little aggressive and a little stern, and I don't want to be that
some aggressive nurses though. So
I know, but we don't like those type of nurses. I mean, you got to put your foot down when you got to put your foot down. But for the most part, I thought it would match up better with law enforcement. My whole thing was just I wanted to help people, so I went on with law enforcement.
So, okay, so which leads into my next question. You said since 5, you knew you wanted to be in law enforcement.
Yes.
What encouraged that feeling in you? What made you think, God, I want to do that when I grow up?
I don't know if it was just, seeing, well, I always remember, because my mom, okay, let me back up. So my mom married my stepfather when I want to say 5 years old. Mm-hmm. And his brother had a daughter who worked at the time here in South Florida, Broward County Sheriff's Office. She was a cop. And, growing up, I never seen many female cops. I had like a cop on my street who lived on my street, but he was a man. And most times when you thought about police, you always thought about men. So when I seen her, she was always a big inspiration for me when she walked in my door. I never told her that. I should reach out.
Yeah,
but she walked in my door and I'm like, oh my God, that is so amazing. How powerful. Like I've never seen a woman do this. This is something I want to do. This is perfect. I want to help people and I can do it being the police. Like they actually do hire women.
They do.
And so from there, I just, as a little girl, I guess it just didn't, it didn't even fathom in my head that was something. So when I saw that, I was like, I'm going to do it. And I was persistent in it. And I went to school for it. And I don't know if you want me to continue about the journey as far as coming along
Yeah,
with the
yeah.
sheriff's
So that
office.
actually leads into my next question. I just wanted to give a shout out really quickly. My younger sister is a cop down in Palm Beach County,
Oh,
and
cool.
one of my favorite cousin-in-laws who is don't feel like an in-law, she feel like a cousin. She's also a sheriff with Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office. I have a lot of family
Okay,
members in law enforcement, so I just
that's
wanted to
what's
give a
up.
big shout out to them because they've been a part of it
Yes,
for years, and I mean, y'all do a phenomenal job. My hats are always off to Black officers. Like, y'all just got a special place in my heart, of course.
yes,
So,
that's
yeah, my
what's
next
up.
question is, so I want to know about your journey to becoming a cop. Like, from when you graduated and you took your first step into whatever law enforcement field you decided to go in. Like, how'd you get from there to where you are now?
Right. So this is the journey. So as I got to UCF,
Mm-hmm.
I completed my bachelor's degree, as I said before, in criminal justice. I
Mm-hmm.
graduated. I want to say I graduated with the bachelor's back in 2012, I want to say. Or maybe it was 2010. Yeah, 2010. I got my master's in 2012. But anyway, I gave myself 2 years. I said, I got 2 years to figure this out. Because at that
Mm-hmm.
time, I wasn't sure whether or not I would, continue with my education. So I said, I had 2 years to find me a job as a police officer somewhere, whether it was going to be in Central Florida or whether it was going to be in South Florida.
Wow.
Honestly, I applied everywhere, locally and back at home, and
Wow.
everybody denied me.
Wow.
Everybody denied me. The ironic thing is they denied me because of my driving history.
Oh, Lord.
That yes, listen. I was young. I had a fast little car, and I was bending curves. You hear me? And that was it. And I get it. We have to
Yeah.
uphold the law. I can't be, somebody that they, put on the books or whatever.
But let me pause you for a second. That's
Uh-huh.
important, right? For the people watching this story, your transparency, because you know what that lets people know is you don't have to be a perfect person to be a
Right.
cop either, right? Because
Right.
I think that's something I kind of thought as a kid, like you can't
Oh
make
no.
any mistakes.
No.
Like, I thought of a cop as this noble thing as a kid, like this great thing. And of course it was always white men, but I think I kind of assumed that you had to be dang near perfect to do it, right? And
Yeah.
then here
Yeah.
you come as a Black woman. I just imagined, man, she probably couldn't have had no referrals in elementary school. Like they go that far. I
I
wouldn't
was
have made
taking
it. Let me just
patrol.
say that.
But you know what? That's funny you say that because people really believe that. They don't think that we're real. It's like we walk in, they think it's almost like like celebrity. Like I'm not a celebrity. I put my pants on just the way you do. This is a job. I love my job, but I'm Ebony first. I was born as Ebony. When I take this uniform off, I'm still Ebony. But let me not get sidetracked. So anyway, the thing is never to give up, right? So
Yeah.
what I did because of denials, I didn't give up. I didn't let that discourage me and switch me over to a new career path. What I did was I took the back door. And the back door for me was correction. So
Okay. Mm-hmm.
I couldn't get the job as a police officer as far as driving the patrol car and all that. But my second go-to was correction. So I applied for Seminole County Sheriff's Office
Mm-hmm.
as a correctional officer, or what we like to call it as a detention deputy.
Okay.
And I worked there for 5 years. I got hired and I was a detention deputy for 5 years. I worked in security. I worked my way up in the programs department,
Wow.
and I did 5 years there. One day I decided, you know what? I've done my time here. I'm ready for change. I was getting
Yeah.
bored. I didn't want to become complacent. So I'm like, I'm ready for change. So I went to something we
That's
call a
important.
crossover academy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
A crossover academy. And pretty much what that is if you're already certified to be a correctional officer,
Mm-hmm.
then you go through an academy to be it's kind of like part-time academy, not
Yeah.
full-time, because to become law enforcement. So I did that, passed that, took my state exam for that, and I applied for the job, and luckily
And you
they
killed
called me
it.
back within months and I got it. So
And
I
let
was
me
on
just
the
say,
road.
I love the gems that you're dropping throughout your journey here, right? It's
Mhm.
resilience. It's okay. It may not have worked the way I wanted plan A to go,
Right,
but that doesn't mean that there aren't other ways to make it happen, right? You just got to
right,
stay persistent in whatever it is that you're after. And I think that's golden.
right,
That's golden because
right.
we as women and Black women, it
Mm-hmm.
just feels extra hard sometimes. It feels like you
Yes,
got to fight against everybody out there just to claim your seat. And just you have this thing in your mind that you're like, I'm gonna go this way, I'm gonna do it. And then when it doesn't happen, you're at a crossroads where you're like,
right, right. You gotta
is
stay
this a
persistent.
sign to give up or keep going? And
That's right.
I'm very appreciative that you took that sign to keep going. But go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. So I did that. So I went to the road. I did at the time when I got on the road, I probably did. And mind you, let me say this. When I went on the road at the time within Seminole County Sheriff's Office, I was the number 2 Black female on the road at the time.
Wow. So
Right
you were
now,
in a
we're
car
probably
at that time though, right?
what's that? Yeah, I'm in a car. My driving
Okay.
history had cleared up. I was a law abiding
Yes,
citizen.
for the good driving now.
I did what I had to do so that I can
That's
get in
right.
the car. So yeah, I was number 2. So that was very special to me because
Wow.
there was another lady there and then it was me. As of today, we have maybe about 20 now. So we're growing. We're growing.
That's
And
what
I
I
don't
like.
think it had anything with the sheriff's office not looking out or hiring Blacks. It was a simple fact that I believe that just as we were as kids, that we didn't see people that look like us. So we
Doing
didn't take chances on it because we didn't think, okay, we didn't belong.
it.
But now that they see some of us, now more, inclined to come and do the job.
And I hope
So
more
that's
do it.
what's nice. Yeah,
I
me
hope
too.
more
Me
do it.
too.
We need that representation.
That's
It's better
right.
in my opinion, it's better policing for the community when we do see people that show up that look like us. We
Yes,
we
yes,
tend to feel a little bit more at ease. So I do
that's right.
hope more Black women take on that challenge and complete that journey.
Right.
So now let me ask you something. Were you aware? So before you started your journey to become is it correct to say motorcycle cop? Because I feel like that's wrong.
No, it is correct, but we're
Okay.
deputies, so we work for the sheriff. But either way, this is
Okay,
fine.
so a
Yeah.
motorcycle deputy is correct?
Yeah, yes,
Okay,
correct.
so before you set out to become a motorcycle deputy, were you aware that there had been no Black woman to achieve this and no woman, period? Or did you just kind of step into it blindly?
I was very aware of it, but that's not really why I did it. I did it
Mhm.
more so because I had a passion for traffic.
Right.
And as we know, watching the news and the climate of law enforcement today, the public perception is not favorable for us. So for
Absolutely.
me to get into that position, while me being in this position and to change that perspective, I had sat down and I thought about like, how can I be the change? Like as a Black woman in law enforcement, what can I do to be the change? And my thing is, I'm gonna be different. I'm
Yeah.
going to treat people with respect. Not to say that the people I work with
No,
don't, they do,
absolutely.
but I just want to treat people with respect. I want to be compassionate. I want to, help people. That's what I want to do. So I thought about what can I do, or what position can I be in here within the sheriff's office so I can kind of really do that. Now,
Yeah.
granted, every time as law enforcement, we come in contact with people, 9 times out of 10, it's not good because either it's domestic violence or someone's
Unfortunately.
passed or someone needs help,
Yeah.
so it's not. But I figured the most interactions and I can set the tone for myself is traffic. So I love traffic enforcement.
Okay.
And I'll never forget when I went to the road, my first traffic stop, it was a lady in the car. She was trembling. She was shaking. She was so nervous. And I had forgot, even for me, when I'm not in uniform, how nervous we naturally get when you
Yeah.
get pulled over on the
Yep.
side of the road. And I hated that. I
Yep.
hated that she had to feel that way. I
Wow.
hated that, and it's not just her, it's a lot of people.
It's a lot.
Yeah, that they're terrified when they're stopped. And mostly Black people, whether both male and female. So when I stop people, I try to be personable with people. You know what I'm saying? I'm not Ebony, the authoritative figure, the cop. I'm Ebony first. I'm a person.
Right. Yeah.
I'm letting you know what? Calm down. I'm talking to you from Ebony. I'm Ebony from around the way when I come stop your car. Calm down. How you
I
doing?
appreciate that.
Yeah. How you doing? Okay, let me tell you where you went wrong. Because now I'm at my car. You're trying to get outside of the car. We don't do that for your safety and mine. You never do that. I'm dropping jewels, trying to educate them so that they know going forward. Yeah,
that's important because it helps us to let our guard down a little bit, right? When you approach us more from a personable aspect. And I've had my own, I wouldn't say run-ins, but encounters with cops. And I'll tell you, one time I was driving and there was a recall on my car where the brake light stayed on. So I get pulled on a really dark street in Seminole County by this cop. And it was late at night and I'm like, oh my God, like it, a lot had just happened in the nation with Sandra Bland and it was just so much. So of course my mind is like, but thankfully this cop came up to me and he was more concerned that I wasn't trying to give him a signal to say, hey, I'm in trouble, I need your help. Than he was with trying to, badger me about, hey, you got something illegal going on in the back here. So, I have been very, very vocal about law enforcement, but I will say, again, I have family members that are law enforcement officers. I support it wholeheartedly when it's done correctly. right? And that
Right,
sounds like
right.
what you are bringing to the game, and that is exactly what we need. So that actually leads me to my next question. So I know you said that was in your oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna say, because I'm chattering. You got to pull me in sometimes. But what I was gonna say is, because of that, that's what took me into motors, and that's why I wanted to go to motors, because motors is the only position within the sheriff's office where you can primarily just focus on nothing but traffic. I don't have to worry about going to domestic violence calls or going to just all other calls that we have. It's just specifically traffic. So if it's a crash or an accident or just a traffic stop or something like that, that's what I do.
Yeah.
And so that's why I did it. And as I did it, I thought about, like, dang, I'm gonna be the first female. Like, they have no ladies here. I'm gonna be a part of the boys club.
Yes.
And so
Break
I
that
did
glass
it.
ceiling. That's what we're talking about. So
Yes, I did it.
how did you feel? How did you feel when you just took that leap? Like, what were you thinking on the inside of you? Like, were you super excited, or were you like, what am I getting myself into?
Well, the funny thing is, I've never ridden a motorcycle ever in my life. So my first step, I did this thing step by step. I said, okay, I need to get my motorcycle endorsement. That's step one.
Yes, for the
What
plan.
I'm gonna do, yep. I said, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go to Seminole Harley Davidson. I'm gonna get my motorcycle endorsement, and I'm gonna see how I feel on the bike during the endorsement. So I did that, and it was like a 2-day course, and I enjoyed it. So I'm like, okay. Now, granted, it's a much smaller bike than what I would be on, but I had the fundamentals down pat, and I'm like, you know what? I like this. So I did the interview for motors. I got selected to go to motor school, which is the police motor school, which is nothing like the civilians. And I was, and some of the guys, oh my God, it's not. We get wings. We get something called motor wings. And I tell everybody, I understand why it's wings, because as much as I flew off that bike, I had wings. I had wings. I could fly. I really could fly.
You earned them wings. That's right.
Oh, I earned those wings. I was bruised from the ankles on up.
So it's tough work. It's really
very tough. And a lot of people, both male and females, they attempt to go to motor school. You can go to motor school, but it's about passing. A lot of people don't pass. They're either broken up, some kind of bones are broken, some kind of close near death experience because they flew off the bike in a major contact with the concrete. It's tough. It's mental. A lot of it is very mental.
Because you got to go back and do it every day,
over and over again. And once you fall off that bike real bad, it's hard to get your willpower to get back on there.
But you stuck with it. You stuck, and I know it had to be extra tough, right? Not to say that I'm sure you came through this class with a great group of people, but it's something about having another woman's friendship when you're going through that type of situation, right? So how was that in the boys club? How was that? Did you have a great group of guys there to cheer you on, or were you just kind of to yourself? Or
so in motor school, of course, I was the only female in motor school, and I would describe motor school as every man for themselves, because we're all trying to get it. It's so hard. It's demanding physically because the bike is 600 pounds. So when you drop that bike, what you do over 100 times, you are responsible for picking up your bike.
They make you drop it and pick it up over 100 times?
No, they don't make you do anything. You're gonna drop it and pick it up over 100 times.
Oh, okay.
Because
girl, I thought they had that built in.
No. There's like 12 courses that you have to complete, that you have to ride, and you have to pass courses. So in school of doing the courses, you're gonna drop the bike because you're doing. It's not like I'm just riding straight and I'm going around some curves like the average civilian rider. You are really doing like rodeo courses in order to complete this course. So you drop it. And not just me. And honestly, me being the female and the only female, I didn't drop it the most. So I did not drop it the most, because let me tell you why. I wasn't with picking it up.
That's right.
as much. But I picked it up my share.
I love men, but I always say women do everything better. I'm just saying.
Now I would say I was the best. Now I wasn't the best, but I wasn't the worst.
I think we the superior being. No disrespect, no man out there, but I just love some women.
So I did going in. Some of my guys from my one of the guys who was my partner at the time, he's moved on as a detective. God bless him. But he was my partner at the time. He was very how can I say, he was in my corner. He motivated me. Of course, my husband coming home, I had stories after stories. And he kept, he went out and bought my Epsom salt. He had my hot water ready so I could soak
Yes,
because I
what a
was hurt.
supportive man.
He was supporting me. You hear me? I some days I felt weary. He gave me my pep talk. Like, as I said before, my partner, he also was very supportive. He would come out there and kind of run the course with me to make sure I had it. Another one, a friend of mine who I work with, who's also a male, he was very supportive.
That's awesome.
I had
So
maybe
what
2
you're
or 3
saying is
females.
your support system is important when you're doing something.
Oh, you need it.
Anything in life.
You need it,
Especially
yes.
of this magnitude, though. You need a great support system. So you said your husband, your couple of your coworkers were a part of your team. Who else was? How were your kids? Because you do have kids, right? I
have a daughter. She'll be 13 next week.
How did she feel about you going through this?
She just shakes her head. I mean, her and my parents, they just like, girl, it's nothing you won't do. So nothing surprises us. Like we signed, their words were, we signed up for you to be the police, but we didn't sign up for all of this. But in the meantime, they said, if I got to do it, do it. That's and even calling my mom sometimes, even before even going in, I was like, Mom, I am a little nervous. I mean, I will be the only female. And she was like, you never back down from anything. She said, even if you don't make it, she said, at least you can say you tried. She said, that's what matters. You had the heart to go out there and do it. And so I did it.
That's right. Listen, I hope your daughter go to school every day. Like, my mama a motorcycle cop. Because listen, I don't care if somebody could be like, hey, good morning, Gabby. I'd be like, my mama a motorcycle cop.
She's so humble. Me and my daughter's so opposite. She's so quiet and sedity and prissy, and I'm loud and outspoken. And I think she sometimes, if she's proud, she got a weird way of showing it. But
I'm sure she's
embarrassed because I'm so loud.
No, I'm sure she is super. I mean, that's amazing. That is absolutely amazing. So, having accomplished this achievement, if you could go back in time and tell little Ebony anything, what would you tell her?
I would probably say, you can do it. Never give up. Don't count yourself out. No, don't worry about what it looks like or what the competition looks like, because what I've learned throughout my journey, and I've also throughout my journey developed a really strong relationship with God. And it ain't even what I think it would be. It's his will and his path for my life. So if I knew that then, it would be nothing that I would not do.
That's right.
Because a scripture that I love is that I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, and that gets me through everything I do, from the ACT to the LCAT to the SAT to everything. That has been my scripture.
For the standardized testing, for the
standardized testing, it has brought me through. You hear me?
that is absolutely right. So I'm going to ask you one last question.
Okay.
What advice would you give to a woman watching this who is thinking she wants to take that journey herself, not necessarily becoming a motorcycle deputy, but just, going through law enforcement? What would you tell her?
Do it. And don't think that you're less than because you're a female, because as you stated before, sometimes we as women do it better. And we don't need all that testosterone. What we need sometimes is us. We are those compassionate. Some of our qualities is what makes the best cop. Absolutely. And, I would say just never count yourself out, especially based on your gender. Absolutely.
Well, Deputy Ebony Perry, if you ever hear somebody screaming, "You go, girl," in traffic, I promise you it is me. I get excited that time when I saw you. I was just beside myself. I was like, let me pull over and take a picture. Dang, you know how that traffic is right there, like at 434 and I-4. So couldn't do it. I was just so happy to see you. I was so super excited about this interview. I can't thank you enough for doing this for me. I wish you the best of luck. Please stay safe, and thank you. Thank you for, doing this to show the rest of us, no matter what field we are in, that we just got to keep going. Just, like that bike that you drop 100 times, pick it up 100 times. Keep going.
That's right.
Keep going. Right. So y'all, thank y'all as always for tuning in to the Gift of Gab. Again, I am your host, Gab. Like I always say, take care of yourselves and take care of each other. Bye, y'all.
Right.